Hi everyone, Rob Gabriele here, managing editor of SafeHome.org. If you have babies or toddlers at home, this video is definitely for you. Today I'm talking with car seat safety expert Sheena Hill. We're covering the most common mistakes parents make with car seats and how to really keep your kiddos secure in the car. All right, Sheena, let's go ahead and jump right into the questions. So, what would you say are a few of the most common mistakes that parents make when it comes to car seats?
One of the top mistakes that families make is just graduating seats or position or direction too soon, or having their child in a seat that's not the right fit for them. So, for example, I know when kids start kindergarten, sometimes even preschool, if there's a carpool line, there's a lot of pressure. Get them in a booster, keep the line moving. They should be able to buckle themselves. And truthfully, 4 and 5-year-olds should not be in booster seats. They need to be harnessed. Um, you know, when the child is in a harness, the harness is doing most of the work to keep them safe, right? Keep them in the proper position. When a
Mhm.
child is in a booster with just the seatbelt alone, it's just like you and I in a seatbelt. So the child has a lot more freedom. They can, poke their sibling, bend down, turn around. And the research on that shows very high rates of misuse, even for kids 7, 8 years old, because they just don't always have the impulse control to sit in that booster where they're responsible for their positioning and safety.
Right.
I know that's a big challenge. And, a lot of pediatricians encourage parents to turn kids forward facing too soon. There is a lot of confusion with just manufacturer labels and directions. And I know parents will see the 100-pound weight limit on a car seat box and say, well, great, I can keep my child harnessed till 100 pounds. But they're not looking closely enough or understanding the marketing material well enough, which I fully blame manufacturers for. That that seat only harnesses to 65 pounds, and the 100-pound limit is the booster limit. And this is really a challenge, just to make sure that parents are well educated about the products that they're using.
Mhm.
Another big mistake that I see is obviously a seat that's not installed securely. So for installation, we're looking at less than an inch of movement at the belt path. So just wherever the latch belt or the seat belt goes through the seat. And I think a lot of parents are maybe unsure where to check or how to get that tight installation. You do need some leverage when you're working with car seats, and it's really not about strength. I always tell parents, I've done it, 8 months pregnant. It's just having the right technique, and knowing where to push the seat down or how to pull the belt. So there's a lot that parents can do to empower themselves about the seats that they own. You don't have to know everything about every product on the market. That's my job. um, but you can know about your seats. And that's why getting your seat checked, working with a professional, can really help you understand the features of your seat and how to install it correctly. The other big mistake, especially with new parents, parents of infants in those rear facing only carrier style seats, is a loose harness. So this, the advice has changed a little bit. A decade ago, we taught what we call the 2-finger test, where you would sort of put 2 fingers under the harness. But we know that everybody's fingers are different sizes. That's not objective at all. So like I said, about a decade ago, we transitioned to the pinch test, where you're pinching the harness. And if you can pinch any of it, then it's too loose, right? We want your fingers to just slide right over that harness. So even with this shift in how we educate parents, there's still so much misuse with parents having the loose harness, both for the vehicle in motion, and I especially see it for those infant carriers when parents have it in the stroller or are out and about. They say, oh, my baby's sleeping, or they're so squishy and I don't want to harm them. And so they loosen that harness, or they undo that chest clip or the crotch buckle. And so we want to make sure that the seat is fully secured every time baby is in the seat, and certainly every time that the seat is being used to transport your child. You want to pass the pinch test, check and double check. Slack can hide in the harness down here at the hips. So take a little bit of extra time and make sure that that harness is nice and tight. Oh, I actually have, can I tell one more, one more common misuse, Rob? There's some more.
Absolutely, of course.
You. Just because I saw this so much in the past week, so it's fresh on my mind. A lot of parents don't realize that for rear facing, we want that harness to be at or below shoulder level, but for forward facing, we want the harness to be at or above shoulder level. So even though with a tight harness, there's a little bit of room in the event of a crash. And especially for parents who have a child in each direction, at least one of the kids is wrong because they tend to make them match. So I know it is confusing, but below shoulders for rear facing, above shoulders for forward facing.
Great. Okay. And so where can parents go to get help with installing their car seat? I've heard of fire stations. You can go to the nearest fire station, or there's car seat inspection stations. Are those the same thing? Or maybe just talk a little bit about that.
In order to really have your car seat, checked with the best practice and all the information in mind, you really want to make sure that you're working with a certified child passenger safety technician, CPST. And so not every county is going to provide that training and certification for their first responders. I know where I live here in Maryland, only one county does because they have the tax dollars to do that. And at the other counties, those first responders are not trained in car seat safety. It's not part of their job description. It's not something we should expect from them. Oftentimes, the state organization will host their service stations, right? Their kind of pop-up events at fire stations just because we have the space. You can drive through, but those are staffed by the people that the state pays, kids in safety seats, and also volunteers like me, right? So, all child passenger safety technicians, in order to keep up our certification, we have to have a certain amount of continuing education, certain amount of volunteer time. So, so we will work those events and provide that education to the public. So I don't ever recommend just going to a firehouse or showing up or even asking your neighbor or your brother-in-law. I have actually seen a family that had 7 kids and all their car seats were incorrect, right? It doesn't matter how many kids you have, doesn't matter how long you've been in the parenting game. Car seats have changed a lot. I've been certified for almost 14 years, and that, a lot has changed in that time. And so, it's a lot to keep up with. So you want to make sure that you're going to someone who really has all the information, can help you with your specific seat, your specific vehicle, and the needs of your family. If you're looking for a way to find CPSTs in your area, you can look for local events. Like I said, our state organization provides some free events every month. There's also private technicians like myself who provide the service, on call at people's homes for a fee. You can also go to the website, safekids.org, which is our international certifying body, and you can put in your zip code. I don't know how it works internationally. This is just for the US, but in the US, you could put in your zip code, and you'll be able to get a list of current certified technicians near you. So you could always see if there's an event. You can reach out to them, and many of them do provide the service privately for a fee or work with an organization or a hospital. So it can be tricky to find, right? I know a lot of people still say, just go to the fire station, but it's important to go to someone who really knows what to look for.
And do you have any recommendations on car seat brands that parents should be looking at?
This is a tough question, Rob. So, as an educator and an advocate, I'm a neutral party. I'm not, allowed to like have sponsorship or take, have brand loyalty to any particular brands. There are seats that I recommend a lot. I can't really have a ton of brand loyalty. Every car seat has its pros and its cons. There's no such thing as a perfect car seat, unfortunately. What I can tell you is that there are certain seats that I recommend a lot, because they're pretty affordable. They're user friendly. They install in a really straightforward way, and parents really like them. So one of those seats is the Graco Extend to Fit. It's pretty. Uh, it's a seat that has a lot of high-end features at a low price point. So it's about $160, and it rear faces to 50 pounds, and it has this extendable panel to give you some extra leg room. So it has features that a comparable seat would cost over $400 to have those same features.
Wow.
And what I like about it is it's a pretty lightweight seat. It's not super bulky, and that means that you can use the latch to install it for a longer time, because the latch limit on that seat is 45 pounds. That means your child can be up to 45 pounds in order to use the latch to install the seat, because those lower anchors have weight limits. So
Mhm.
each manufacturer determines based on the seat weight what the latch limit for that seat is. Otherwise, you have to use the seat belt, right? Um, so that is really user friendly for parents to be able to use the latch for a longer time for installation, almost the life of the seat rear facing. It also has a really straightforward for seatbelt installation. So, that makes it a seat that I recommend a lot, especially because of the price point. When there are certain features that parents are looking for, there are seats that are going to stand out, because some seats only, some features only a few seats have. But every car seat is a safe car seat as long as it is installed and used correctly every time, right? In order to be sold here in this country, they do have to pass, federal safety standards. We want to improve those standards for sure, but they still have standards that need to be passed right now.
Right.
And so as long as you use your seat correctly, install it securely, harness it, make sure that it's well fit to your child, it's the right seat for them, then every seat is going to do its job. I have absolutely seen $50 seats save lives. I've seen $500 seats save lives equally. The
Right.
seat does its job. There is a concern about counterfeit seats. It's this new phenomenon that's been around the past couple of years, which is really frustrating, particularly high-end seats. So you can usually tell a counterfeit seat because the labels look weird. There's some odd spellings, or things, don't quite grammatically add up.
Mm.
Sometimes even the labels have like an odd placement, right? If it's supposed to be in this circular part of the seat, it's really offset.
Mm.
You know, like any other counterfeit, item that you might be looking at, you have to look really closely at the details. So if you're concerned, please talk to a CPST near you. Call the manufacturer, right? There should be, contact information in the packaging. Your date of manufacture and your serial number are on stickers on the seats. So that is a big concern, but I can't say that I, have, just seats that are my very favorite seats.
What is some of the latest tech that you're seeing come out? Or are there any new tech features or new products that you're excited about?
Yeah, so the last couple of years, we've had more seats that have the safety sensor to let you know that the harness is buckled, to reduce kids being left in cars accidentally, especially hot cars.
Mm.
And that's really important. Heat stroke, vehicular heat stroke deaths are really scary, and so we always want to make sure that we're helping support parents to recognize what's in their car at all times, because we know stressed, sleep deprived parents, they just do things by rote sometimes, and so it's an accident that we absolutely can prevent. As far as technology, there's a new feature that has been around for a while, but it's gaining popularity again with manufacturers, which is a rotating convertible seat. So the seat would install rear facing, but there's a button that you pull, or lever that you pull, so the seat actually rotates toward the door of the vehicle, which theoretically makes loading and unloading your child easier. So there's a couple of seats on the market now that have that rotating feature, and it is very cool. I absolutely see the functionality of that.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you need, what you're looking for, but it is a fun feature.
And so maybe why don't you tell us a little bit about Parenting Works and how parents can find you online?
I am a social worker in private practice, a psychotherapist based here in Baltimore, Maryland, and I support and educate parents all over the world on a variety of topics. So most of my work with families focuses on responsive parent education, understanding development and attachment, recognizing how to set limits effectively, how to use play therapeutically, how to support emotional work and build emotional intelligence skills in children, understanding sleep development. So a lot of my work with parents is privately through coaching or classes or professional trainings. But I've been a CPST from my years in the nonprofit world, because I've been in private practice for over a decade now. So I gained that certification, and it's something that I continue to use in my private practice, providing trainings for colleagues, and also car seat recommendations and car seat education locally in my area to families. So people can learn more about my work on my website, which is sheenahill.com. And then I have Facebook and Instagram. I can't get into TikTok. You guys don't want to see me on TikTok. So on my Instagram and my Facebook, it's Parenting Works, and that's a great place to get not only car seat information, but lots of parenting. I post tons of graphics and really accessible tools for parents.
All right. Well, thank you again so much, Sheena, for sitting with me today and imparting your wisdom on our viewers.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, absolutely. And with that, signing off with SafeHome.